Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. My track guide for the BMW M2 CS going around Laguna Seca. Let's get into it. Turn 1 is going to be flat out. We just want to take the shortest route possible all the way down to turn 2. Just before turn 2, we want to track out to the right side of the track. I brake once I get to the white part of the curb here. When I get to that, I aim for about 70% brake pressure, and I'm trailing that all the way to the middle of the corner. We can actually have the full car on the outside of the white line. I didn't go as far, I only used the middle of the car. We want to hit both apexes on this one, so that's why I didn't put the full car outside of the white line. The curb is flat on the inside and we want to cut as much as possible. Just don't hit the red anti-cuts, it will unsettle the car. After the curb ends, we will start to apply the throttle again. We want to ease in the throttle, making sure we hit the second curb as well. Once we're on the second curb, we should be able to go full throttle again, and of course we want to use all of the available room on the outside. Then we want to bring the car over to the left side of the track. Make sure to use all of the curb as well. I brake once I get to the 2 board on the left. Once I get to that, I go to about 35% brake pressure, easing that off all the way to the red anti-cut on the inside, cutting all of the curb on the inside as well. Once at the red anti-cut, we want to apply the throttle again, and of course use all of the available curb here on the outside. We want to stay on the left side of the track, again using all of the curb, and I brake once I get to the 2 board here on the left. Quick hit to about 15%, then holding a little bit of brake all the way to the curb on the inside. Again, we want to cut this curb, but don't hit the red anti-cut. And when we get to the anti-cut, go full throttle again, and of course use all of the available room on the outside. Then we want to go over to the right side of the track, use all of the curb for turn 5. For turn 5, my braking marker is the 3 board here on the right. Once I get to that, I go to about 70% brake pressure, easing off the pressure all the way to the red anti-cut on the inside. Here we want to use the curb as well, just don't hit the red anti-cut. Once at the red anti-cut, we want to start to apply the throttle again. Here we want to ease in the throttle because it's really easy to understeer off the track. Then we want to use all the available curb here on the outside. Stay on the right side of the track, turn 6. Here we want to stay on the curb as well to open up turn 6 a bit more. I brake once I get to the dirty part of the curb here. It is a lot easier to see on the track. Once I get to that, I go to about 30% brake pressure, quickly easing off to just a few percent, and holding that all the way to the red anti-cut. We want to get as close as we can to the red anti-cut because the corner is cambered and it will help the car turn that bit more. Once at the red anti-cut, we want to apply the throttle again. And of course we want to use all of the available room on the outside. Just make sure you don't go in the gravel as that will slow the car down. Now we want to line the car up for the corkscrew, starting on the left side of the track. When we start to brake, we will make sure we end up on the right side of the track. The best marker I could find was this white board here on the right. Once I lost that, I'll start to brake. Initial hit to about 70%. Once we go over the top, I'll increase the brake pressure to about 80, making sure we are braking in a straight line and turning in so we cut a little bit of the curb on the inside. Here we want to start to apply the throttle again, and of course we want to ease in the throttle here to make sure we don't get an off track going down the corkscrew. Once you have this lonely tree here just in the middle of the car, is where you can start to turn right. All being done right, you should be on the curb. Make sure to ease in the throttle while going down. Now we want to be on the right side of the track. For turn 9, I used the brake just a little bit, holding a few percent to make sure I get all the way up on the inside curb, applying the throttle again just before the curb. I like to come out just about mid-track for turn 9. It makes the car a bit more stable for turn 10. For turn 10, I brake once I get up on the beginning of the curb here, going to around 50% brake pressure, easing that off all the way to the curb on the inside. Again, here we can cut the curb as well, just make sure don't hit the red anti-cut. And the corner is cambered, so we can actually carry a bit more speed than we think. Just before the curb, I'll apply the throttle again. Then we want to let the car walk out to the left side using all of the available room. Make sure to get up on the curb for turn 11. My braking marker is the 2 board here on the right. Once I get to that, I start to brake and I go to about 75% brake pressure, easing that off all the way to the curb on the inside. Again, here we can cut the curb as well, so make sure to do that. It will gain you a bit of time. When I'm on the curb, I'll start to apply the throttle again. And we do have a fair bit of room we can use outside of the white line to help us carry it at a bit more speed. And now it's a drag race down to the start finish line. And that's my lap around Laguna Seca in the BMW M2 CS of a time of 1 minute 31.8. I have more track guides for the M2 linked down below. Hopefully you found this one useful. If you did, leave a like down below, consider subscribing as well. And now for the uninterrupted hot laps.